In times of unimaginable grief, people will offer you their sympathies. And I appreciate the outstretched arm, but I've been in a breaking things kind of mood. I've been scarfing down enough food for thought that I've got bowels so backed up with brilliant ideas, eventually I'm gonna shit books. Thick books, leather bound. They will not smell of rich mahogany. Books so badass they'll be banned for trying to define bravery as walking into a biker bar wearing a pink sweatshirt with a picture of a unicorn being tamed by a gnome. Going it alone is like leaping out of a window waiting for God to catch you. And in the second before impact, gravity becomes a fact so well established it makes you calm. I've gone from needing a shoulder to lean on to trying to calm the night into thinking it had the day shift. Trained my shadow to shoplift light from the back pocket of levity, bent my forehead to the kiss of brevity, hoping I could get through depression with some semblance of speed, but the live camera feed is on a 24-hour delay, so I keep reliving the worst parts of yesterday in slow motion. And someone once told me that the finer points of devotion are about the size of a pinhole, but there's millions of them. And if you can connect each dot, then you've got a diagram of what you think you thought you knew, and if you're willing to admit you know nothing, you've got a blueprint for a breakthrough. The year is 1892. No, it isn't. The year is 1982. I'm not that old. I'm not the Highlander. Chubby Highlander. I only survive because other Highlanders can't find my neck. It's a new series I'm pitching. The year is 1982. A young Shane Koyczan who looks somewhat like a cherub being forced to wear clothes is meandering through the complexities of life. Young Shane is at the age where he doesn't really have the mechanisms in place yet to understand what fiction is. Everything's still real. Santa Claus, the Tooth Fairy, promises. I remember a kid with a Superman raincoat jumping off a 4-foot ledge thinking the right colors could make him fly. I remember being heartbroken when I discovered I couldn't fly. At least I thought I was heartbroken. In reality, I did not yet know the depths my heart could take me to. I had not yet seen the film E.T. One night, without any warning, my grandmother marches me down to the theater and we watch the film. If you haven't seen E.T., I'm totally about to ruin it for you, and I don't give a shit. If you haven't seen the movie by now, that's your fault. You've had plenty of chances. In the movie, a boy named Elliot befriends an alien, which he names E.T. If the word alien is what sticks out to you in that sentence, then you miss the word befriend. The film is not about aliens. It's about friendship. It's about empathy as communication. Fast forward to the point in the movie where E.T. dies. I know! I am inconsolable in the theater. My heart is breaking for an alien that looks like a cross between a giraffe and a poo emoji. People are turning around in their seats to look at me. One guy asked my grandmother, "Can you keep him down, please?" My grandmother gives him a face full of popcorn. She knew you don't shush a broken heart. I just watched my friend die, and there was nothing I could do about it. Now, here's the thing. I went to Catholic school, and they teach us about death. Or rather, they teach us about one death. And I was raised to believe only Jesus can come back from the dead. So what happens next? E.T. comes back from the dead. I am on my feet in my chair like, Jesus, who? My grandmother's not trying to pull me down in my seat. She knows when miracles happen, you're going to need a better look. The shushinator gets another face full of popcorn. And Stephen pulls it out. It's mission accomplished. They get E.T. to the woods. It's happy ending time. Happy ending time sounds like a totally different movie. Especially with E.T.'s fingers. Oh my God. Yeah. But it's not a happy ending. Elliot and E.T. have to say goodbye. They're best friends. But E.T. has to go home. E.T. says, come. Elliot says, stay. E.T. says, ouch. My little heart is a goldfish flopping around on the sticky theater floor next to a shit ton of popcorn. Mr. Shushkins doesn't say a thing. The Tootsie Pop shell of his masculinity is cracked open and revealed the squishy center of his humanity. And it's fucking delicious. With E.T., Steven Spielberg turned my heart into a yo-yo. If we ever meet, I'm going to bite him. But none of that is why I tell you this story. I tell you this story because tonight I want to talk to you about emotion. The depth of our feelings is profound. But as we grow up, we're taught to control our feelings. So the things we feel now don't resonate with the same urgency as when we were young. We can keep it together when things go sideways most of the time. And that's good news. We don't want to be bursting into tears every time our phone is at 2%. So we flip the switch and rein in our emotions. But the more we turn that part of ourselves off, the harder it becomes to connect with. And some of you might think, well, that's not so bad. It's good for my productivity. Emotions are messy. It's a fair assessment. When we're emotional, the outside perception from the world around us is that we're out of control. You have an emotional day at work, they want to send you home. They want you ugly crying next to the water cooler. They want you to get your shit under control so you can come back and be productive. But the world is chaotic. Things happen all the time that wake us up to the fact that our sense of control is an illusion. Ever gone through a breakup? Ever lost your kid in a shopping mall? It's only in the times where we lose our sense of control that we're hit with a reminder of how deep our emotions run, how they can paralyze us, make us physically sick with worry. Now imagine not being able to turn off that part of yourself. Imagine having to feel with that same level of intensity all the time. That would make emotions such a burden. But what if there was a pill? One pill. And yeah, the highs wouldn't feel so high, but the lows wouldn't feel so low. Why wouldn't you want to take it every day? Emotions are messy. Why keep them around? Because it feels good to laugh. And it feels good to love. And when we care, we want to care deeply, love deeply, laugh deeply. But we don't get to pick which feelings we want and which ones we don't. We have to feel all of them. So if you want deeper connections with your friends, your family, your lover, you have to be willing to let them invoke in you a pain that is equal to the joy they give you. You have to care all the way. And yes, that means that when you're hurt, you'll be hurt all the way. The pain is sibling to the struggle. It too is real. And it's chronic. My dreams are the only time I feel free from it, but even then, it's the first thing I wake up to. The pain says good morning like an overly cheerful neighbor whose pancakes taste like tragedy. The only thing that sweetens their bitter taste is the revenge of knowing that by eating them, my body will slowly turn them into poo. And I will fart them out as stinky ghosts that haunt the people closest to me. That's the long way of saying you won't get much pleasure from the pain. It isn't terribly amusing. But if it happens to be your kink, you're in luck. The pain doesn't spare the rod. It puts the blasphemy back into the, oh God, you say to yourself to keep from screaming. Even in the absence of belief, faith becomes a thing you can bite down on when it hurts. You don't have to believe in heaven to suspect you might be going through hell. Pain is just like love in that you can't always see it, but you know it when you feel it. It is 9 days after my grandmother has passed away and I am being inducted into emergency at Penticton General Hospital. After a test, I am told that they have discovered an irregularity and that a doctor is coming to see me. When he arrives, he pops the question. Living with chronic pain, it is a question I have been asked so many times. It gets under my skin just as easily as the needles they use to draw my blood. On a scale from 1 to 10, how much does it hurt? I don't know. What number makes me an emergency? We are asked the pain scale question because pain is subjective, which means the patient's self-report is the most valid measure of what's being experienced. But I'm not a numbers guy. I rewind to a time when I am 5 years old. I am in a hospital in Yellowknife. Consciousness moves in and out of me like stuttered breath. There are brief and terrifying flashes of my grandmother with tears in her eyes. I am only just hanging on after being hit by a truck. Broken ribs have punctured my lung, and each intake of air is a knife trying to cut the tether that keeps me anchored to this life. Rewind again to just 1 week prior, when I was my grandmother's patient, when she would diagnose my pain with the question, "Can you show me where it hurts?" It wasn't so long ago, we were all just kids, and whatever pain we felt could be cured with a kiss. This is still practiced today. It remains a prescription for the scraped knees of children who play just a little too hard. Not every card we draw from the deck will give us a winning hand. Not every broken part of us shows up in the X-ray. How do you weigh a pain that isn't physical? The question comes again on a scale from 1 to 10. How much does it hurt? My grandmother's question was better. Can you show me where it hurts? At least with that question, we get a sense of where the pain comes from, how much it hurts. Does it ache like a pen that's never written a love letter? Does it hurt like a piano in a hotel lobby with a sign on top of it that reads, "Do not play"? Like the thing it was born to be, the life it was meant to live, is politely being told to shut the fuck up. Nobody here wants to hear it. What's a good number for that? Loss tears into the parts of us where the better definitions of what this feels like are busy trying to work out the math. Like I'm stuck trying to calculate the sum of what's left to live for after having to subtract the person who meant the most to me in the world. What's the square root of agony? Can I divide it by depression? Is there a common denominator for grief? Maybe it's not a high number. Maybe it's low but constant, adding irony to the sentiment easy as pie. Because on a scale from 1 to 10, maybe it's 3.14 trailing off to a trillion other digits all lining up behind a decimal point, because at some point it starts to feel like it's never going to end. All the time we spend missing the people we love isn't enough to buy back the moments we wish we said more. And we can say it all, but we'll always wish we said more. More devotion in our love, more friendship in our gratitude. Friendship is the food that fills our emptiness. She was my best friend. How much I loved her is how much it hurts. And I can't fit that on a scale from 1 to 10.
Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, we'd appreciate it if you could hit the like button, if you could hit the subscribe button, and make sure to ring that bell icon so you don't miss any updates from us in the future. If you want to go that extra mile and support us a little further, we do have a Patreon channel with loads of exclusive goodies, and you can sign up for as little as $1 a month. We appreciate your help, guys, and hopefully we'll see you again soon.